Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Elite Dangerous. Specifically, I was able to finally kill my first Thargoid solo last night. It's been something that I've been kind of working towards, fighting against the Thargoids, all of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I even started playing on the PC so that I could wing up with people and take on the Thargoid threat. But with the release of the Class 3 Axe multi-cannons, I've been trying to figure out what would be the best ship with the best possible setup to go on and take on the Thargoids. And I'm not saying that I'm the one who invented this particular build or anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure someone has already done it. It's just a matter of me trying to do it myself and showing you guys the build that I've used. So I know that a lot of you are going to be wondering, what is the build? We want to look at the build. So I set up a Coriolis sheet because it makes it a little bit easier than going through all of the modules and all the different things in the outfitting menu. I think that Coriolis shows stuff a little bit better. The one thing that you have to take into account on this particular Coriolis sheet is that the power plant that I have in there is slightly engineered. It's only a Class 3 engineering thing, but if you don't have access to power plant engineering, you might want to take a slightly bigger power plant. The thing is, the ship power plants, particularly on a ship like the Anaconda, which is the ship that we're talking about here, are extremely expensive, so you want to take that into account. So maybe you don't want to get the grade A because it's like 130 something million. But then again, building this ship in and of itself is going to be quite the investment. I think that when I took a look at the end result as it is here, I think it was around 600 million. So even with the discount from Lyon Rui, it's still going to net you down quite a bit. So keep those things in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that, unfortunately, Coriolis does not have the anti-Xeno weapons present. So I had to use other things. It doesn't have the anti-Xeno modules either. So I've had to use a couple of replacement things, like where you see the ECM utility. That is actually the field neutralizer thing that you have from the Axe. And the other module that's in there that is not a shield booster, I don't remember what it is as I'm recording this because I'm not in front of my computer. But the other module that is in there that is not a shield booster, that would be your scanner. I think I used a Wake scan. No, probably some Kill Warren scanner or something. It's the Xeno scanner so that you can actually scan the Thargoid and check out its innards. The other thing is the weapons. You will see that there are fixed multi-cannons in there. Those are actually Axe multi-cannons. Like I said, Coriolis does not have the anti-Xeno weaponry. And where you have the regular cannons, those are supposed to be your remote flak launchers. And then finally, at the last thing, it's just like gimbaled multi-cannons. On those, the small hard points, you can put whatever you want, really. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Personally, I use multi-cannons because I have multi-cannons on my regular build, so I don't even bother swapping those out. I really don't think that the small hard points matter that much at all in order to fight the Thargoid. Now, before we get into the Thargoid fight itself, I think it is important to mention that this is, I've only fought the Threat 5 Thargoid, so that's the Cyclops variant. There's currently 3 variants of Thargoids, which are the Cyclops, the Basilisk, and the Medusa. I've tried winging up on the Basilisk. We weren't particularly successful. I'm going to have to still work out the strategy of how we're going to be doing that. But on the Cyclops, it's very soloable with a ship like this. And the good thing about this ship is that it requires very minimal engineering. So for those of you guys that do not like engineering, you can use this ship, this build, and if you can manage to fly the ship properly and not make as many mistakes as I did throughout that fight, I'm sure you guys will do just fine. Now, on to the fight itself. I should mention that for those of you that aren't aware, my gaming rig has died recently, so it's currently getting repaired. I had to take it to the shop because it's either motherboard, CPU, whatever. I don't know what it is. And so I've been forced to record and play this on the same rig, which is my streaming rig, and it's not as powerful as the gaming rig, so the footage is not going to look as good as I would like, but it's still good enough for you to be able to check out me taking on the Thargoid. And this one of the reasons why I put this particular strike against the Thargoid is because this was the first time that I've soloed the Thargoid, because I've made so many mistakes. You will see me launch the fighter, and instead of selecting my pilot, I selected myself because I was experiencing a little bit of a frame lag on account of the fact that I was recording and playing at the same time. You guys will notice, but even with all those mistakes that I made, we still took out the Thargoid, and it was still pretty damn satisfying to finally do it for the first time. Now, if you are trying this build and you're considering engineering something, my priorities for engineering, for starters, you can't engineer anti-Xeno weapons yet, so that is not really something that you have to worry too much about. But if you are engineering something, what I would consider engineering is, for starters, your thrusters. Get dirty drives. I have dirty drives grade 3 in this particular ship, but you can do without them. But if you are engineering something and if you have access to Palin, I would go with dirty drives. It's like one of my main priorities after the power plant, of course, if you're using the 8D power plant like me. And anything else that you would engineer, I would go for the hull reinforcements. You might be tempted to reinforce the shield, but like, shields aren't really going to do much for you. As a matter of fact, I have a friend of mine, Von Kickass, who was actually fighting the Thargoids with no shields. And he was being more successful than most of us because his hull was just so hard on account of like engineered reinforced hull that it was insane. He would barely take any damage from the Goid at all. So shields are not particularly important. As a matter of fact, I'm even considering eventually trying out a build where I just remove all of the shield boosters from that ship and replace them with point defense drones. I'm not sure if that's going to be particularly effective. It might, but it's something that I haven't tried out yet. But ultimately, like I said, if you want to engineer stuff, start with your drives, your power plant if you're using an 8D power plant, and eventually go straight for the hull reinforcements, because that is one of the most important things in keeping you alive in a fight like this. Anyway, having said that, hope you guys enjoyed the fight, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.
Compromised, down to 50%. Fighter link is down. We lost it, Commander. I need to get out of the firing line. Fighter link is down. We lost it, Commander. Engaging telepresence control for fighter. Seeing some hull damage here, Commander. Need to evade fire. Fighter is prepped and ready to go, Commander. Hull integrity depleted, Commander. Fighter is destroyed. Didn't stand a chance, Commander. You got it, Commander. Deploying the ship. What ship are you targeting, Commander? Don't want to take out your own ship. Hull damage here, Commander. Need to evade fire. No more talking. We're all clear, Commander. Need to evade fire. I'm looking at 50% hull here, Commander. Can't see any more hostiles. That must be it, Commander. I can't hold out much longer, Commander. I need backup. Fighter is destroyed. Didn't stand a chance, Commander.